welcome back to Sinister's Sisters Crime and Curiosity podcast. The podcast where we dive into cases that linger into the shadows and stories that leave behind more questions than answers. My name is Ash, and I'm with my lovely co-host, Bree. And we're so happy that you're still here listening to us and supporting us and growing with us on this journey. Your support means everything to us as we continue to explore the strange, the unexplained, and unsettling side of the true crime and curiosity-driven storytelling. I'm gonna do a disclaimer and just listeners' discretion. Listeners' discretion first. This does contain sexual assault, and it contains kidnapping, and murder. And our disclaimer, yes, our disclaimer is we're not professionals. We don't claim to be professionals. We're just two best friends who love true crime and strange and unexplained deaths, documentaries, conspiracies, and all the cases that leave us with more questions than answers. This space is meant for storytelling, for discussion, and curiosity. If this is not your thing, feel free to move on. You have free will. We will not be upset. Trust us. We will not be upset, and we will never know. Also, we want to state that we mean no disrespect to the individuals that are in the case. If we mispronounce your name, their name, or get any of the details wrong or incomplete, it's never our intention, and we truly apologize in advance. At this time, we have not reached to the point where we are interviewing people directly, so all of our information comes from public sources, such as, obviously, articles on the internet, articles in newspapers, books, reports, podcasts, and other online material. All the individuals mentioned are presumed innocent unless they're proven otherwise in a court of law. Any opinions expressed are for discussion and storytelling purposes only and should not be taken as factual conclusions. Listeners' discretion is advised.
Nicely done.
Thank you. And yes, we have to do that every podcast. So, sorry that was long. And this is, like if you listened to the story last week about Lisa McVeigh, this is another story of a girl who escaped her kidnapper, and he was also a serial killer too. So, the girl who escaped, and her name was Kiera Robinson, and this is Fight for Survival and the killer she exposed. Okay. Before I forget. You could watch this story, I'm pretty sure, on Tubi. It's a true story. Or Lifetime. Because I don't know if if people that were here last week, you listened to the Lisa McVeigh story. She also helps catch her killer or kidnapper. Okay.
Did you watch this yet on Tubi?
I did. Yeah, okay. It was good.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll save what I was going to say till the end. Okay. On June 24th of 2002, a normal summer afternoon in West Columbia, South Carolina became the beginning of one of the most unbelievable survival stories in modern true crime history. 15-year-old Kiera Robinson was outside a friend's home doing something completely ordinary, watering plants, when a stranger approached her. In a matter of seconds, her life changed forever. The man standing in front of her was not a stranger simply passing by. He was a predator who had carefully selected his victim. and he was about to commit a crime that would eventually uncover the truth behind years of unsolved disappearances. That man was Richard Mark Evanitz. I know I'm butchering the name. I'm sorry. A suspected serial killer who had managed to avoid justice for years. But what?
Wait, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sorry. His first name is Richard or Mark?
It's Richard. Middle name Mark,
Okay.
and then it's Evonitz.
Okay.
Evonitz. I don't know. But what Evonitz did not know was that the teenage girl he abducted would become the reason investigators finally discovered who he really was. Before Kara Robinson became known around the world for her incredible courage, she was a teenage girl living a normal life in South Carolina. She was described by those who knew her as bright, determined, and full of personality. At only 15 years old, Kara was at an age where her biggest concerns should have been school, friends, and growing up. She could never have imagined that one afternoon would force her into a terrifying situation where her ability to stay calm and remember details would eventually help solve multiple crimes. I wonder if she's seen the Lisa McVeigh thing and took those survival skills in. Because
Yeah, I
the
feel
Lisa
like a lot of
McVeigh thing
people.
was in 1980s, I'm pretty sure. And this was in 2002.
Yeah. That could
So,
have inspired her. Well, not inspired, but that could have. She could have remembered something.
right. The man responsible for changing Kara's life was Richard Evanitz, born in 1963. He appeared to many people as quiet and ordinary. He was not someone who immediately stood out as dangerous. He had jobs, maintained relationships with people around him, and was able to blend into communities without drawing attention. However, behind that normal appearance was a man investigators would later connect to a disturbing pattern of crimes involving young girls. Before Kara's abduction, law enforcement had already been searching for answers in several heartbreaking cases involving missing children. In 1996, an 8-year-old Sophia Silva disappeared from her home in Spotsylvania County, Virginia. Sophia had been playing outside with her sisters when she vanished. Her family was left devastated, and investigators spent years trying to determine what happened to her. Despite searches and interviews, Sophia's disappearance remained unsolved. A year later, in 1997, another tragedy struck the same Virginia area when sisters Katie and Kirsten Lisk disappeared. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Kirsten. Her name is Kristen. Kristen was 12 years old and Katie was 15. Their disappearance shocked the community and became another painful mystery for investigators. Their family waited years for answers, never knowing that the person responsible was still out there. For years, these cases remained open. Families lived with uncertainty, hoping that someday someone would come forward with information that could reveal the truth. That information would eventually come from an unexpected place, a teenager who survived, a survivor hundreds of miles away in South Carolina. On the afternoon in June of 2002, Kara Robinson was approached by Richard. He reportedly pretended to be someone harmless before suddenly revealing a weapon and forcing Kara into his control. He abducted her and placed her inside a large plastic storage container in his vehicle, attempting to hide her as he drove away. Many victims in situations like this experience overwhelming fear and confusion. But Kara's mind immediately shifted into survival mode. Instead
Can
of
I say
allowing
something real
panic,
quick?
yes,
Sorry. Would you survive in a tote?
I'm not
Can
sure.
you breathe in a tote? In a plastic tote?
I maybe. I
Like,
guess
was
it
it lid
depends
on
on how
top?
long. I don't know.
That was probably a stupid question. Maybe the lid wasn't on. But she would have to be secure in the tote, right? Like she could just get
Yeah,
out.
unless
I
she's
guess you're
like,
right. It depends how long.
yeah,
Okay. All right. Anyway, sorry.
no, you're good. Uh, Instead of allowing panic to take over, Kara began paying attention to everything around her. She understood that if she survived, the details she remembered could be the difference between finding justice and allowing her attacker to remain free. During the drive, she focused on her surroundings. She listened carefully, remembered turns, paid attention to locations, and stored away information about the man who had taken her. When Richard brought Kara to his apartment, she continued observing. She was held captive for approximately 18 hours. But during that terrifying time, she did something investigators would later describe as extraordinary. She studied her surroundings. She remembered the layout of the apartment, personal belongings, details about Richard himself, and anything that could help police identify him. Kara was simply waiting to be rescued. She was gathering evidence. During her captivity, she noticed information that would later become critical to investigators. She learned details about Richard's identity and memorized enough about him and his home that when she escaped, police had a clear direction to follow. Her ability to remain focused under unimaginable circumstances gave investigators something many kidnapping cases never have: a detailed description of the offender and his environment. Eventually, Kara saw an opportunity to escape when Richard was asleep. She managed to free herself and get away. She ran from the apartment and found help. The moment she reached safety, she immediately began telling authorities what had happened. Instead of a vague description, police received a detailed account from a survivor who remembered locations, physical characteristics, yes, a personal information about her attacker. Kara was able to provide investigators with the information needed to quickly identify Richard. When police searched Richard's apartment, they discovered evidence that connected him to the disappearances of Sophie, Katie, and Kristen. After years of unanswered questions, investigators finally had a, a suspect who could explain the cases that had haunted families for years. When Kara escaped from Richard's apartment, investigators immediately understood that they were dealing with an unusually important witness. Many kidnapping investigations begin with little more than a missing person report and a desperate search for answers. In her case, police had something incredibly valuable: a survivor who had been able to remember critical details about her attacker. She provided investigators with information about Richard's appearance, his behavior, his vehicle, and where she had believed he lived. Her memory allowed enforcement to move quickly. Police soon identified the man who had taken Kara as Richard. As they searched his apartment in Columbia, South Carolina, and what they discovered would change the case forever. Sorry. Authorities found evidence that connected Richard to the abduction of Kara and raised serious questions about whether he was responsible for other crimes. The evidence recovered from his home pointed investigators toward a much larger investigation, one involving several young girls who had disappeared years earlier. As the detectives continued examining evidence, they began connecting him to the Richard had lived in the areas connected to the victims and had a history of targeting young girls. His behavior followed patterns often seen and predatory offenders, carefully selecting victims, planning his attacks, and attempting to maintain control over them. The information Kara provided helped investigators understand the person they were looking for. After his identity was exposed, Richard became the focus of a nationwide manhunt. However, before police could arrest him, he fled. Investigators believed he understood that authorities were closing in and attempted to escape the consequences of his crime. Richard eventually traveled to Florida, where law enforcement located him in June of 2020. June of 2002. Officers surrounded the area where he was staying, preparing to take him into custody before he could be arrested. Richard died by suicide. His death meant he would never face a trial or provide a full confession in the court, leaving some questions unanswered. However, investigators continue to believe that the evidence connected to him to the murders of Sophia, Katie, and Kirsten. For the families of the victims, learning that Richard was likely responsible brought a complicated mixture of emotions. After years of uncertainty, they finally had answers about who had taken their loved ones, but those answers came with unimaginable pain because the person responsible would never stand before a judge or receive a sentence for what he had done. While Richard became known as a dangerous predator, Kara Robinson became known for something completely different: survival strength and resilience. Her actions during those terrifying 18 hours demonstrated an incredibly ability to stay focused under extreme circumstances. She did not know at the time that this information she collected would help uncover a killer and bring answers to the families who had been searching for years. Her story also changed the way many people viewed survivors of violent crimes. Her experience showed that victims responded to trauma in different ways. There's no single way to react during a dangerous situation. Kara's ability to observe and remember details was what helped her survive, but it also the result of an unimaginable situation where she was forced to make decisions no person should ever have to make. During those times she was sexually assaulted and everything like that, so sorry. This printed out the same thing multiple times. I'm like reading it, like, what is going on?
No, I was trying to find the unmute button. So, the differences here with the Lisa McVeigh one, at least that I could remember, is she was held 18 hours, and Lisa McVeigh was like 23 or something?
She was 26.
26. And she wasn't blindfolded? So she could see, right?
She could see, yeah. I'm pretty sure... No, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure the reason why they found the evidence linked to the other girls was because he had like a chest in the room with personal belongings of them. And I want to say in the movie, he lived with his mother in the apartment. I'm pretty sure, but in this it doesn't say that.
So that's weird. Yeah. So the mom knew?
I don't think it was either his mom or his grandmother or something like that, and she had no idea what was going on. Or whatever. He was like one of those weird people.
Right. Wow.
So,
well, thank God she escaped.
Yeah. But I feel like, and I'm not saying this about her in a bad way, but I feel like Lisa McVeigh happened before her, and they're trying to say that this case was like one of the... When Lisa McVeigh's story was, I feel like, the first one that she remembered, she did the clues, she did all of that. And this would have been a second case, like, that this was known for one of the most, you know, not saying that this was good that happened to her, but I feel like,
Yeah.
if you know what I'm saying.
No, yeah. I mean, also, I mean, the benefit of it is they found out that he had
Yes.
killed other victims, so.
Right. I know that was like a short case. I also didn't realize it
No, I
printed
mean, it
on
was
the
to the
same
point.
page. Yeah. Like, if you watch the movie and you listen to more things, like, it goes in details. The girl, she was held captive. She was sexually
Yeah.
assaulted. Like, I don't think I really went into the sexual assault because, I don't know, I feel like that's a lot.
You don't really have
And some
to.
people,
Yeah. I mean, we get the point.
people
Yeah.
listening to stuff like that is a lot. So,
Yeah.
if you can watch it, I can look up the name of it real quick. But I'm pretty sure you can watch it on Tubi or Netflix or Lifetime. But yeah, she survived. And
And the killer committed suicide, so he didn't get to get a trial or be
right, he didn't
imprisoned or
get to be
anything.
punished.
Right.
Uh, yeah, obviously there's always more in like the movies, but like the Lisa McVeigh, they said they make them more dramatic. So
Right. Of course.
some things in the movie could not be what actually happened. So I don't want to say go by the movie, but listen to the podcast and stuff like that. Like, you hear everything. I just don't. When people who have been, sexually assaulted are listening to things like that, and we don't know who our listeners are,
Mm-hmm.
other people listen to us that we don't know, that could trigger something for them. And,
Yeah.
I don't want to bring that, like, I will mention that they were, but I don't want to go into the details, if that makes
and
sense.
I agree with that. I don't think you really have to, so. No, I think that's a good thing. But this is another very good one. I mean,
yes.
she helped a lot of people. Unfortunately, they didn't survive, but I guess they could find out who did it. It just sucks that he couldn't be imprisoned.
So for the people, if you watch the Lisa McVeigh story, which is really crazy because the same actress that plays Lisa McVeigh plays Kara Robinson in this movie. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of crazy that she plays that type of
character.
Yes.
Two similar characters.
Yes. And you can watch it on Tubi for free. It's called The Girl Who Escaped: The Kara Robinson Story. So, and it is based on, a true story. Obviously.
Do you know anything about where she is now? Is she still alive or anything? You said this happened in 2002?
Yes. So it looks like Kara Robinson did get married, and her last name is Chamberlain. And she is a keynote speaker, activist, and survivor advocate. Oh, wow. Who travels the country educating others after famously, escaping from a serial killer, Richard, in 2002 at the age of 15. So she goes around speaking. She does have social media or whatever, but yeah.
Love that. That's great.
Yep. It looks like
Let them know, Kara.
She's married. Yes, she is married. She got married in 2011, and they had children together. So that's nice.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I hope she has a happy life.
me too. Me too. Stuff like that's sad.
Right.
Going through
But
stuff
super
like that.
inspiring in a way.
Yes,
Good for
it
her
is.
escaping.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good one. You did another good job.
Thanks. I feel like I was talking like super fast.
That's how I always feel when I read too.
I just feel like I'm like
When I'm
very
doing
like
one.
today, so I'm just like
No, you did a great job. And that was a great story.
thanks.
Hopefully
It wasn't
this
long,
people
it was
could listen to
short.
this and
I feel like the
no,
Lisa
I thought it
McVeigh
was a good
story was
amount of
like
time.
super weird.
I thought this was a great amount of time. This was good. I mean, now
But
people listening to this, maybe they'll want to watch it or look up her story.
yeah, I hope they do.
Right.
I hope people do watch and go watch these because like yeah, they're like sad stories, but like you see like what these people went through, if that makes sense. So and how people, you know, they fought to survive. Because remember, Lisa was gonna take her own life
Right.
that night, and she got kidnapped, and she was like, "Hell no,
Right.
I'm not letting somebody else do it to me. I gotta survive this."
Love that.
So, I love me a strong
Yeah.
woman,
Right, of course.
especially fighting
Well,
against the
hopefully
man.
this, of course.
Right.
Well, I think you did a good job sharing that with people. Hopefully
Thank
people
you.
go look into it, and she deserves to be discussed.
Yes. Yes, she does.
Is that all you have?
That's all I have for this case because I didn't want to go into like the gory. It's not gory, but you know what I mean. I just find
Right.
things
No,
like
I
that
agree with
very.
that. I
It's
agree with
very
that.
sensitive, and yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's that was a good idea. We don't really have to,
Yeah.
but just some terrible things probably happened to her in that house, and she
Yes.
escaped it.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, well, if that's all you have, I guess we
Thanks,
will see you listeners and viewers in the next one.
Right, guys, and remember, always be aware of your surroundings. Travel in groups with people that you know. I know people like to travel by themselves, but in this day and age, even back then, we gotta stick together. Gotta stick together, and that goes for men too.
Right. People
Children
who travel by themselves
yeah.
are like
That
inspiring
scares
to
me.
me in a way. I could never. I'd be scared.
It is, but it scares me because you never know what's gonna happen to you. And not that I want anything bad to happen to anybody, but it's very
And I feel like you could tell when somebody's traveling alone.
right.
So,
yes.
I could never. I don't have that in me. I'm too scared.
Right. So am I. But yeah, always be in groups. Always remain aware of your surroundings, who's around you, everything, and don't be a sad bitch